Okay, so as we now know, Hurricane Helene has ripped through Florida, Georgia, parts of Georgia, that is, and North Carolina, and caused incredible damage. But during the storm, there's a creator that was in Florida, actually, I believe. When the storm was going through there, she posted a little quip about her boyfriend, I guess, that she was living with. There were evacuation orders actually in Tampa, mandatory evacuation orders, and she and her boyfriend decided to stay. Well, actually, the boyfriend decided to stay, and he's like, no, we don't need to evacuate. Don't worry about these orders. We don't need to go anywhere. And so she kind of posted this kind of little, I don't know if it's true or not, because to me, it's not rage bait, but it's like frustrate bait, they'll post something absolutely ridiculous and then come out and then they're like, well, he's actually pretty nice. It's not all like that, after everybody's all raging in the comments and, they're all mad and all that stuff. But she had posted about despite mandatory orders to vacate that area because the storm was coming and they knew it was bad, her boyfriend says, no, we don't need to evacuate. We don't need to obey those orders. We're going to stay. And she's there under the covers posting, oh, he decided that he's not going to leave. And she doesn't leave either. So she decides to follow him and stay. And then it created all of this reaction from people. Check it out.
Winds in the east.
This is exactly what I mean when I say let men rot. You live in a mandatory evacuation zone, but your boyfriend says we're staying. Let him stay. Let him stay and let him figure it out. You staying is irresponsible and also putting yourself at harm. This idea that women do not have the autonomy outside of their partner is wild. Why are we dating men that want to put you in a hazardous or keep you in a hazardous situation? Your boyfriend thinking that he is more superior or knows more about safety systems, local protocol, weather protocol to keep you in an unsafe situation, why would you agree with him? You're telling me in 2024, we believe and trust men with this level of our lives? You don't have to suffer like this. Remove yourself from the shackles. Let him stay behind. Let him rot. Women are left to be responsible for their own safety time and time and time again, or other women are the ones that are protecting women, not these men. These men don't care what happened to us, especially the ones we live intimately with. Elaine Postlewaite, I think I'm saying that correctly, from Australia, is the OG let him rot. 50 years of marriage and he never took much notice of what I would say. He sat back towards the flames and she couldn't drive, that's why she walked. This woman made her husband lunch as wild bushfires are ablaze, took herself out of the house, walked, left him, she survived, he died. This is the epitome of do not drown with them. Let them drown themselves. If they don't want to save themselves, they sure as hell don't want to save you. I have so much respect for women who want to have proximity to men through romance or whatever, but they don't put themselves aside at all costs, especially when it comes to your life. It is up to women to protect themselves because their partner isn't going to do it. That is why they try to convince us so deeply that they are protectors, because they are not them. If they can get us thinking that they are the protectors, we put the power in their hands to then not protect us and put us in harm's way. I stand with women who do this, and I think that more women need to start doing this.
If you make the decision not to evacuate, this county is asking you to write your name, birthday, and other important information on your arm or leg in permanent marker so you can be identified and your family notified. If that doesn't make you take this seriously, nothing will. If you are in a zone to evacuate, you're likely going to get very serious flooding, not just from rain, but from storm surge. That is not something to take lightly. I was in Hurricane Ian in 2022. It was absolutely insane. They didn't expect it to be so bad. It was later discovered to be a Category 5 hurricane. After the storm hit, the flooding got worse. It was impossible to leave. Like, listen to the authorities. You don't know better than they do.
Evacuating during a hurricane is a privilege. Stop getting on here saying, oh, well, people are refusing to evacuate or they're ignoring the warnings. Everybody does not have the money to get up and go. Do y'all not realize that? People are not being stubborn. People are not being like contrarians, or they're not like, oh, it's not going to happen to me. People cannot afford to evacuate. People cannot just get up and go get a hotel room in a city miles away. They don't have the gas. They don't have the vehicle. I remember one time I had roommates. All my roommates left, but I didn't have a car. My kids were with my mom. I didn't have a car. I was just like, I'm just going to get my little candles and bunker down. Luckily, I was safe. But, like, it could have went bad and I would have been alone. But I was okay. Everybody checked on me. My family sent me money to help me get supplies. It's not always that easy, y'all. Do y'all not forget that people are poor in every single situation? Stop it. Stop calling people stupid. Stop talking about people. Stop degrading people. People aren't choosing to stay home during the hurricane. They simply cannot afford to leave.
Winds in the east.
Now, this is no shade to her, but this is the kind of man that wants to lead. Every weatherman, every meteorologist is telling people in Florida to get out of harm's way, but because your man, who doesn't have a degree in any of this, is like, nah, I'm the leader and I think we should stay right here, you're supposed to follow his lead. Like, some of these men want to lead you right into a brick wall, lead you right into the eye of a storm. Not every man is equipped to lead, especially when he's not willing to listen to people who know more than he does. It's crazy to me because some of the same men that want you to trust them with your life won't even trust you with their phone. And this is why you can't just trust leadership to any man, because it could put your life or your livelihood in jeopardy. Some women will go against their better judgment, against their common sense, against their intuition to prove to a man how loyal they could be and that they could actually be submissive. How many times have we seen women say, when I'm with my man, I turn my brain off? Some men you can't do that with.
Is anybody else following the crazy-ass story of the woman in Florida who didn't follow evacuation orders for the hurricane? She lives in a beachfront house, and her and her dog were just staking out there. And apparently she doesn't have insurance, but water levels are rising, and she had a generator running inside her house. But after a while, she does manage to leave her house, and she goes to her neighbor's house to party on a boat. And if you go to the videos, you can see people partying on this boat. And in the background, you hear someone talking about how they found a deceased woman. So her and the guy who found the deceased woman are talking about how they had to pull this deceased woman out of the water while loud party music is playing in the background. I don't mean to laugh, but I'm actually just kind of shocked and like, this is the most Florida thing ever. And like, I really hope this isn't real. Like, can anybody confirm that this is fake? Because I'm not sure, because this does seem like something that would happen in Florida. But yeah, people haven't seen her dog for the last like 3 or 4 videos. And she also hasn't posted in like 3 hours now, and the boat has sank and nobody really knows where she is anymore. So I hope this isn't real, but it's freaking insane either way. Like, I really hope this is just rage bait and people aren't dead and her dog's not dead, but I don't know what's happening.
So I don't know, what do you think? Firstly, what I would say was just self-preservation in everything. It doesn't matter who you are. If you are in a situation where there is a storm, there's some unsafe situation, and the person you're with or whatever is kind of like, oh, they don't want to listen to that. You think about yourself. You think about your family. maybe your parents, your children, your whoever, and you know, put forth the self-preservation efforts. But let me know in the comments. Let's talk about this, about the situation of people choosing, I guess, to stay with their partners rather than obey orders. And it's not just in this situation, but in every situation, you know, people, I want to stay with my man, and there's a storm. I know a lot of people in the comments were like, you know what? If he wanted to stay, I'd just let him stay, and you get yourself out of harm's way. What do you think of people who follow leadership? It doesn't matter who's leading, blindly without putting forth your own critical thinking. What do you think of people who outsource their intuition to others, leave it up to others to protect, leave it up to others, don't second guess anything, they leave it up to others to think for them, to make the decision for them? So in this case, you know, if that guy is like, we don't need to evacuate, don't worry about those orders, we don't need to go nowhere, I'm not going anywhere. You know, most times the women who have said, you know what, I'm not listening to you, I'm gonna pack my stuff up because you're crazy, the man himself will like pack himself too, because where's he gonna go? I mean, he doesn't want to be there by himself, right? So sometimes, you know, it's all about wisdom, and would you outsource your intuition, your common sense to someone else to use the common sense for you? Anyway, that was an interesting conversation. Let me know in the comments.